Good morning, everybody. It is September the 21st, 2015, and we start another trading week. As far as treasuries go, this week's focus will be the 2, 5, and 7-year auctions, which begin tomorrow. Bank of Japan's and Japanese markets are closed until Thursday, so we're without that. China devalued its currency 0.11 over the weekend. Not much other news out of Asia other than the fact that China says there's nothing wrong with their economy. The West is wrong to be worried about it so much, etc. So central banks talking up their economies and talking up their currencies or markets or whatever it happens to be remains the central news focus, and the fuel that drives the equity markets is more quantitative easing. One of the articles said the reason our E-mini is higher today is because the Bank of Japan or the European Central Bank are going to have to increase their current quantitative easing programs. So it really boils down to how much money will the world's central banks continue to throw at their respective stock markets and economies. Ray Dalio came out with an article that I put into the room, saying the real reason the Fed didn't cut interest rates is that a recession is looming. It's just right over the horizon for the U.S. economy. And we sit back and we look at all these headlines that come out and publish, and the numbers on a headline basis most of the time look pretty good. But when you go beneath the headlines and you see how much statistical smoothing is required to get those numbers, it makes you wonder. So the world's economy is contracting right now. There's no way to get around that, and the question always is, how far will it go? Will China be able to quote-unquote maintain their posted 7% growth rate? Will the United States continue to grow, at least north of 2%? Hard to say. The economy ultimately is a state of mind. It is the willingness of people to forego $1 today or to risk $1 in anticipation of getting more back down the road. And in this type of environment, it's hard to see people taking a lot of risk. So we'll have to see how it pans out. Only one major piece of news on tap this morning: existing home sales, 5.59 million. And I don't know I don't know if they come in higher or lower. Usually I have a pretty good feel, but the housing numbers have been mixed over the last month. Then we have Atlanta business inflation expectations at 1.8% on an annualized basis. So not much in the way of news today. Down to, I think, whether the E-mini can get through 1966 or not. So where does resistance lie? 24 to 28 as the market opens today, so our first sell is 23 to 27, followed by 31 to 03. On the buy side, support has been 12 to 16, so 13 to 17, buy 1, 5 to 9, buy 2. The news: existing home sales 5.59 million. Thirty-year. The knob spread came in about 10-30 seconds over the weekend, as usually that is the case when it sells, when the markets are selling. So selling started early in the 30-year. So we've got this problem of is X the low? Got a high volume number at 25 also. The market was pulled right to it. Now tell me you don't know where the market's going before the fact. So we'll put buy 1, 21.25. It's where support is, and then we'll open it up. Get this high volume number at 10, so we'll make 9 to 13 for buy 2. We're going to lean against that high volume number right there. On the sell side, selling started at 11 We got volume at 5, so 3 to 7, sell 1. Then 15 to 19, sell 2. Gold's off a little bit over the weekend, not in a big way. Well, I take that back. This morning when I looked at it, we were at 1136, so gotten some pretty good selling. We came in wanting to sell the 40 area over the weekend, so plus or minus that held up pretty well. Given the selling that we have right now, we'll put the first buy 27.25. The idea that we have a shot to go a little bit lower based on this kind of selling, and then 19 to 21 for buy 2. On the sell side, 33.35 and 39 to 41. China devalued their currency a little bit over the weekend. That usually produces a little rally in the euro, but I don't think we got it this time. And I think what happens once you have the surprise devaluation by China where everything readjusts. Right now they see that China, it's up 1/10, it's down 1/10, up 0.02, down 2. It changes. It's no longer the focus. So right now I think the European Central Bank wants the euro lower. I think the long-term trend is back in effect. So we got this W high at basically 1300. We have this X high at 84, and we're currently at 63. So 75, 85, sell 1. 1300, 1310, sell 2. 1240 to 50. Buy 1, and then 15 to 25, buy 2. Like the short side of the market better. Okay, our schizophrenic Middle Eastern policy, when Russia started sending troops and equipment and material to Syria, the United States kind of laughed it off, doesn't make sense, foolish move, all this sort of stuff. Warned them that they're on their own, to be careful what they're doing with Assad and the rest of it, because our government doesn't want Assad in power. What our government doesn't tell you is that 2 years ago, Russia offered to hand Assad to us on a platter, and England and the United States both felt that Assad would fall without Russia's help and decline the deal. So, the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing, and the controlling factor in between those two hands is really, really questionable. They might be bright, they might be smart, they might be able to get into the northeastern institutions, college and the rest of it. God dang, when it comes to common sense or street smarts, most of them are dealing with negative numbers, in my opinion. Okay, crude oil. Last night you can see where we rejected prices below 45. We like the 45 as a buy. We have this spill from 46.50. We're at 15, so we're going to make 25 to 50, sell 1. It's where resistance is right now. There's no magic there. Then 46.75, 47, sell 2. On the buy side, would like to have done it against the buck, but that came at the opening in Globex, so we're at 46.12, so 45.50, 75, buy 1. and then 45, 45 and a quarter by 2. Yeah, deflation's the battle that Fitzroy brings up a good point right there. Deflation is the battle that the Fed and every central bank in the world is fighting. All that easy money, all of that. I mean, steel went from 190 bucks a ton a year ago down to about 45 bucks a ton right now. So there's a lot of stuff because of cheap money that's really, really historically overvalued, and that's what the Fed and every central bank in the world is really trying to fight. Good point, Fitz. And last but not least, the E-mini. The best explanation that was out there for why the E-mini is strong is Bank of Japan or the European Central Bank has to increase their quantitative easing. They don't have to. They probably will at some point, but it shows you how thin the fundamentals are, or the whys behind the moves are. So right here we've got this 75 area. We have the last rotate up in the 65 area. So 65 to 75 is pretty good resistance. So 65 to 70 is going to be sell 1, and then 75 to 80 is going to be sell 2. We're just basically going to pick up Friday's structure, and we're leaning against the tumble or the spill in Globex and this F period high right here. On the buy side, 50 to 55. And then our 40 to 45. Existing home sales 5.59, and it usually doesn't move the market, but that's the only news that we have today. Lockhart speaks at 1 o'clock, so Lockhart has, in my opinion, the most potential to move the market. So at 1 o'clock Eastern, 12 Central, he picks up the mic. And then we have Atlanta business inflation at, on a annualized basis, 1.18. So number one news focus, and this guy here probably has the most potential to move the markets, in my opinion. Okay, it'll take a bit to get everything up and posted. I'm going to get busy on that. I will be back with you as soon as possible.